disease known to man, using herbs as the base of his curative energy. Well, if the father of medicine established the principle of medical science, why are we using chemicals today and we are not addressing either one? There are any disease that has been cured with an inorganic chemical. If we want to take it higher into a scientific level, we find that the herbs contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And what does that have to do with anything? It has a lot to do with everything. Why? The composition of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen is the base for all living things. All living species, plants, animals, and men. Carbon is the base of all life. When carbon is absent, life does not exist. It is as simple as that. So now, we understand that for the body to assimilate something, it must contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, because the body is composed of such structure. We have it ecclesiastically, historically, and scientifically. There could be no argument about the three positions that the herbs occupy, showing their ability to assimilate. Assimilation, what does that mean? It means a lot. Assimilation only means something going into the body and becoming one with you, uniting. The only substance that could unite would be a substance that the body is already composed of. Scientists tell us that there are approximately 104 minerals in the soil. So the body contains the same amount. Ingesting one or more of these minerals, the body would accept them. Why? Because there's one equal in the body for assimilation to take place, meaning that iron would unite with iron in you. Calcium would unite with calcium in you. But if I take a chemical that does not appear in my structure, my biological structure, my body, with what the substance taken going to unite with? And everything unites in the body through chemical affinity. There could be no affinity because I am not made of inorganic chemicals. So you see, it is very easy to understand this. But now, as we leave this particular point 1, we find that we have to go to point 2. Why? Because point 2 would show what is going on that is preventing us from using our senses, as they are called. Out of those senses come an original thought. If we were using the original thought from the beginning, we would have never deviated from God. Because you see, God did not make rice and beans, carrots and tofu. God didn't make a cow nor a hog, a lamb nor a dog. That is the truth. If disagreed with, it is easy. There's research in the area of animal husbandry and mechanical carbonation and cross-pollination, which comes under the title of what? Plants. Plants now. Many plants exist. But how are we capable of differentiating or separating a plant that came with life and a plant that was made by God, it becomes very difficult. Why? Well, the fact of the matter is, we deviated from God when he said that the herbs are for the healing of the nations and that fruit shall be for meat. If we deviated from God, it is easier for us not to see what was said, that God did not make a cow. For us to understand these things, one has to return to the original thought, when nothing of a sort existed. You see, the original thought does not come out of a school of philosophy. No. Philosophy has never had to do anything with life. Philosophy never addressed to life. Philosophy is a product of the brain of some individual. But that is all right. That is quite all right. Why? Because the individual philosopher, he was totally unaware that what he was thinking was his product, belongs to him. But he took it upon himself to believe that what he was thinking and what he was entertaining was supposed to be sufficient for all mankind. Far from the truth. Impossible. Why? Because when God created things, he created things representing a particular genetical structure. Oh yes, he did. He did that very carefully. But again, to see this cosmic or ecclesiastical arrangement, one has to have the usage or the privilege of the original thought. The original thought would come from you and only you. Now, we're going to begin to show what is meant that when God created things, that he placed things in a particular geography with a particular temperature consistent with that cell group. Show, because God, and only God, could do such a thing. He placed the gorilla in Africa with some green leaves all around the gorilla. His environment is green. Not so for the polar bear. The polar bear is placed in Alaska with seals, fish that he should eat, and it's cold. The gorilla, he is placed with leaves that he should eat. Among those leaves there were no bananas, because bananas are hybrids. Again, from the category of industrial agriculture. So, the gorilla, like the polar bear, if we were to interfere with God, you would see something very disastrous. All you have to do is to move the gorilla from Africa and place it in Alaska. In mean upon 2 weeks, he'll freeze to death. He cannot protect himself from the cold. And after, if you were to succeed in helping him to live in such an environment, what about his food? He doesn't eat fish or seals. He eats plants, he eats leaves, he eats berries, fruits. And vice versa, if you were to take the polar bear to Africa, most certainly, he could not live with the temperature. The temperature is too much for him. It is impossible. It is unbearable, because he was not made to live in Africa. We leave these two animals and we go to a plant. The plant We're going to select 2 or 3 to make it very easy. The burdock plant. When one appeals to the burdock plant for energy, what is the mineral in question that the burdock is abundantly supplied with? Iron. Iron is the mineral that the burdock plant has in abundance. Meaning that, like the gorilla, who selects a green leaf, the polar bear selecting a seal, the burdock plant selects iron. Is it clear? Of course it is clear. Let us go to the Homo sapien. Are we not part of the same law? Are we not indebted to the same law of God, that cosmic arrangement? Or do we feel that we are exempt from such a law? Well, you know that if we take that particular position, naturally, it becomes difficult to live. Life would not be manifesting in the level, on the level that God intended for it to be. Because we are violating. Why should I raise the question about violating God? I have to. We at the Usha Research Institute, for years, 20 plus now, has been trying to show what could be the reason why our leaders that has been so grateful to us, all of them, they have tried in many ways to bring us together, that we could give each other the love that is missing since we have been removed from Mother Country. In the Supreme Court of the United States, New York Supreme Court, I mean, a question was asked. When the African was removed from his environment 500 years ago, did they bring his food with him? The answer was no. No. Our food was not brought to the shores of North America. Listen carefully. For a gorilla to function at his optimum level, he has to eat what God provided for him. The polar bear, likewise. The burdock plant, the same. And what about us? What about us, the so-called black man? You think that God didn't know what he was doing when he placed black people in Africa with the plants and the fruits that was necessary to maintain this level of life that we are seeking now? No. Our leaders were not helped to understand that a diesel automobile cannot run with gasoline fuel, nor vice versa. If they had understood that, or maybe they did, but it was not time. The Usha Research is taking upon itself the responsibility. Like all the others before, we are only adding another step on the ladder. But a little bright spot appears where there was darkness, and we jumped on it. We realize that our leaders, our healers, our spiritual healers, there was a component missing that they were unaware of. The food that is consistent with our gene. That was the component that was missing. Then we would ask, well, Sebi, who made rice and beans, carrots and cassava? Who made the how? And how was these things made? After all, God made everything. Oh, of course, everything that is good, God made, but not everything. Because man has interfered in the last 2,000 years with that which God has made. He have added new products, thinking that it was necessary for him to do such a thing. Well, you know, when you take it upon yourself to do that, you're saying that God didn't complete his work.